Now, whenever we talk about domestic violence here on GMTV, I guess we normally assume it's a female victim and a male attacker, but we know from all your emails and texts and calls that it's not always that way, and the latest figures back that up. They show that 1 in 6 men can expect to be a victim of domestic violence in their lifetime, and the number has more than doubled in the last 2 years. Well, it's the subject of the Tonight programme on ITV1 this evening. And Florence Terry, who used to attack her husband, is with us now. Good to see you this morning. I think people always assume it's that way around, but as we know, people ring in and say, no, it's not, I'm suffering. So how did it start in your marriage, the violence?
It started through low-level anger, probably, and stress. And at the beginning, I was shocked when I hit my husband. And then, how did it start? I mean, that's a difficult question to answer. The real thing for me is the fact that it got to the point where I knew that I was out of control. So when I went on anger management, I hadn't hit my husband for, I think, 6 months. But the problem for me was that, to me, it was completely unacceptable, ever.
So what? Well, of course, that's true. But what sort of things did you do? Was it in the middle of a row that you beat his chest or chucked something at him? And what was the nature of it, or was it more subtle than that?
Oh, I wasn't subtle. So it was red rage for me, and it wasn't so much a row because my husband isn't the type of person who rows. So it was mostly me getting more angry. Yeah, but basically it was when I wasn't thinking straight, and then it would come and it would go.
So what was his position on this? Because very often men find it very difficult to ask for help because they're embarrassed. It's sort of not the thing you can tell your mates down the pub, is it? My wife hits me. I think that it was, again, a difficult question to answer because he didn't need help in the sense that I wasn't wounding him. And he didn't need help because he had more insight than me, so he could see that it was me being stressed and that it wasn't really about him, whereas I thought it was about him. No, please don't think that I'm saying that it was okay for him. Not at all. The big thing was that he was ashamed that I hit him. He thought, how he worked this out, I don't know, that it meant that he was a bad husband, and therefore he didn't want me to talk about it. So he was ashamed. You often hear that from women as well who've been hit, that they feel ashamed and they feel that somehow they're responsible. So it's interesting that it can work both ways. How did you break the cycle?
By going on an anger management course.
What was the moment when you picked up the phone, or, you know, because interestingly, you are a divorce lawyer, aren't you? So you see the tensions of people in difficult relationships. Well,
I was in a fortunate position of being in this as a divorce lawyer in the office, so I saw a flyer come in about anger management, and I've been too ashamed to seek help effectively before then. I've been wanting to have help for several years, but I was raising it in the oblique way, you know, if you had a problem, and just being pointed to men's help programmes, which was no good for me. So I saw a leaflet that came in the post, and I thought, looked on the web, saw that they took women as well as men. And
so it must have been very difficult to go along that first time.
Very difficult. Very scary.
What would you advise people to do? Because I'm sure there are people watching this morning that are either suffering from domestic violence or you know that they are being violent. What would you advise them to do?
I'm hoping that people watching this morning will be thinking, number one, am I verbally violent as well as physically violent? Because to me, women tend to be verbally violent more, but that is still...
What do you mean by verbal violence?
Being shaming, blaming, you know, when they're out of control, seeing red, swearing at their spouse, saying, you always do this, you never do that, you idiot, or whatever. To me, that words wound. The sticks and stones can break my bones and names can never hurt me. Rubbish. I think that words are very wounding. And whether it's to children as well. I'm hoping that women will generally think, hey, I get angry, wouldn't it be nice to know myself better and be able to, number one, get angry less, knowing myself better, and number two, behave more appropriately when I am angry.
So to get in touch with what? What can they do to get in touch with briefly?
I understand that you're going to have organisations on the web to get in touch. And so an anger management course, seek help, psychotherapy.
Well, Florence, thanks very much indeed. That's good. As she says, if you do want advice on issues related to domestic violence, take a look at our website at gm.tv. Lots of details there specific to women and also for men too. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.